will be calling for something different from hot coffee.
All right.
But you want to know, we really do get to know, maybe after the program today. For now, let me introduce Rasaq Ayinla. He's joining us in the studio live on the Red for our discussion segment this morning on Morning Fight, OGBC 90.5 FM. Rasaq Ayinla is the editor, Business Day newspaper. We're so happy to have him here.
Good morning.
Thank you
It's
for
nice to
joining
be here.
us.
Good morning, our
again.
listeners. Good morning, Bolaji. It's nice to be here this morning. Though cold morning.
Yeah, cool.
Very
Without
cold.
coffee or tea.
Or hot amana. Okay, so Bolaji, let's take off.
All right, so we have a story here. Tinubu elected ECOWAS chairman. The Punch has a story in a scenario that truly confirms Nigeria as the giant of Africa, the nation's number one citizen. President Bola Tinubu has been re-elected for another 1 year tenure as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. What's it need for us as Nigerians?
What is making that Nigeria and leader in the person of Yakubu Gowon, of course, 15 member states of ECOWAS, Nigeria is the big brother or the biggest brother. They cannot do without Nigeria. All of them, Nigeria. Or if you look at our population, our size, if you have to look at some of these countries that are there, Togo is not as big as Oyo State. So if you are now saying that president or be the chairman of the ECOWAS, they may not have all it takes to be. And don't forget, Obasanjo was the president several years. Jonathan was president. Buhari was president. Even because of Yar'Adua that died on the seats and did not spend much years, he would have been president, the chairman of ECOWAS. So that is telling you that the critical role Nigeria is playing in ECOWAS, the very big brother role that Nigeria is playing in ECOWAS, all of them cannot do without Nigeria. Even when there was a coup in Niger, there was a coup. You could see that they rely so much on Nigeria, what Nigeria would do. So if we sneeze, all of them, if we sneeze, all of them will catch cold. So that is telling us that at a point, a president came to Nigeria, and that's Benin president. He told Obasanjo at that time that you should consider Benin as people that are Benin are Ogun State people. People that are Benin are, of course, you will see that there's no even clear-cut boundary between Nigeria and from Imeko, Ilara, Asi. So that is telling you that again, you could see that the tilers, the bricklayers, electricians, they are coming from Benin to come and work in Nigeria. So it takes us that in our economy, in our governance and politics, that we are indeed a big brother.
Oh, beautiful. But if you look at some of the issues that took center stage when Mr. President was re-elected as chairman of, and he came up to say that he would love every member state to begin to contribute actively, to the pulse of the body so that they can tackle security head on. All right, that's on one hand. On the other hand, the issue of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria is still there. They're still finding the solution at the point they extended the olive branch to them, but these guys are still saying we are pulled out. And I think the signal, the body language now from that body is saying, okay, if you say you are pulling out, it simply means that whatever we are financing, whatever this body is financing in your country, we have to stop. So what is your reaction to security and the approach of the nations?
If you look at Nigeria, you will see that we are bordered by all these countries. We are even at the center of the West Africa, whether we like it or not. If you go to Sokoto, Leila, you see Niger. If you go a bit further, you see Burkina Faso. If you come down to this side, you see Benin and Togo. If you go, so we are bounded by them. They surrounded us. And how do we want us to be secure? Is that we need their consent. We need their approval. We need their rapport that and the camaraderie and the brotherliness that all these crime are actually coming. Some of these crime are imported crime. If you look at banditry, you will know that they're coming from Nigeria and they're coming to harm us in Nigeria. Boko Haram also they use a lot of Lake Chad through this place to enter Nigeria. They use Cameroon, and they also use Chad to enter Nigeria. So they need to work hand in hand. Collaborative efforts, combined security forces will nip all this in the bud. And how do we want to go about this? Is that our president, whether you will like it or not, the chairman of ECOWAS today is only the chairman by the consent of all the other member states. He did not bring himself to be chairman if he was not elected as the chairman of ECOWAS. So the same thing, he needs to talk to all of them that, oh, you have elected me this. And of course, we have a lot of challenge is to integrate all our machinery so that we can fight all this insecurity. This is what he needs to do. Because he is the president, he is the chairman, primo inter pares. It's just the it's not the biggest of all of them. He's only elected by them to be their leader, and to be their leader means he needs to be thinking for them. To be their leader means he needs to cut shots. To be their leader means he needs to take them the way to go. So he needs to immediately call for strategic meetings for all of them to look at how they will secure all our borders. We used to have ECOMOG, and of course they are still there, but they are moribund because Nigeria are the ones supplying troops to them. But Nigeria has been overpowered with the insurgency, banditry, cattle rustling, all of crime. So we could not send any soldier to ECOMOG. I want Nigeria to look at the way of trying to recruit more and tell Ghana, tell Liberia, tell Sierra Leone, tell all of the Senegal to also build up their own capacity. I'm talking about the warfare, so that they will have enough soldiers in ECOMOG. It is because of the fall of ECOMOG. That's the reason you could see a coup d'etat recurring in West Africa. If we have ECOMOG, I want to tell you that Niger will not be doing what it's doing. If you have ECOMOG, Burkina Faso will not, because ECOMOG is moribund, and it is a soldier that belongs to all of them. Nigeria supply their own troop, Senegal supply their own troop, Niger supply. So if we have them together, nobody, no country out of the 15 will overpower the other. So we need to set up ECOMOG, and when you are doing that, is that you need to recruit more men and women, so to say, in all this military, so that you build up your power, you can fight insurgency, you can fight anything, and you collaborate. And I commend Mr. President to have immediately appointed envoy that will go to Burkina Faso and Niger. And who are those envoy? These are presidents of what we call francophone, French-speaking countries who understand them better, because Nigeria speak English. We will not understand Niger, Burkina Faso, because these are francophone. Yeah. So they elected Faye of Senegal, who is into the issue, and resolve it amicably and report back to the secretariat. So this is commendable on the part of course, he will have said, oh, let me appoint a Ghanaian president who is also an anglophone to come and mediate in issues that has to do with French speaking. So you might not understand the body language, you might not understand them better if you are not part of them. So he has appointed those that are part of them to resolve the issue and be able to collaborate and talk to them. Of course, they're going to win this war. They're going to win the war of coup d'etat in West Africa because of what they are doing now and the step they are taking. That tells you that they are using the homegrown solution to resolve home problem.
You actually suggested something. You said that men and women should be recruited into the military. Do you think that they'll be equipped enough and they'll be empowered enough to be able to do the necessary things?
The empowerment of troops lies not only with Nigeria, it lies with all 15 member states. And to empower them, they themselves, they travel around the world. They themselves, they have qualified men, super qualified men. I want to give you an example of Nigerian police. Nigerian police, without considering their shortcomings, they are the best in the world. I will tell you the reason. Whenever they go for international mission, whenever they go for external mission, they perform creditably well because they are not fighting only on warfare, on the gadgets, on hardware. They also have intelligence, which they, of course, they don't have enough equipment yet to fight, and they are still performing wonders. So let's assume they now have the necessary equipment. They will perform better than those abroad. We just need to equip them. We just need to expose them to international balances and let them also uphold the rule of law. Our Nigerian police, our Nigerian military will do better than any other in the world. So let's try to harmonize them with all other countries in the member states so that they will fight insurgency, crime and criminalities around the coast.
When you said Nigeria police is the best around the world, social media this smile, I'm sure he's thinking, what's the yardstick measure?
You're actually considering their shortcomings. And of course, everybody knows. Let me give you an example. They may not have equipment, and they will crime that you can't think of, and you think they've gotten away with it. They will definitely catch them. So the Nigerian police, they are highly intelligently okay, and you can see that the way they fight crime is very like those that are carrying sophisticated weapons.
And how
They
intelligence
that tells you that we need to commend them for their shortcomings. Everybody will be talking about their shortcomings, but they are highly qualified to fight anything.
That is why they say,
crime,
let's move into another thing.
All right, there's another story here coming from the Nation. National grid fully restored. I will be right back after this break. This is story coming from the Nation newspaper. After the collapse of the national grid for the fourth time this year in a row, the TCN says that now it's been restored. I mean, what's this all about? Keep collapsing and then restoring. When can there be a lasting solution to all this?
There won't be any lasting solution. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I need to tell you the truth. There won't be lasting solution except some steps are taken. This is the genesis of Nigerian problem. Our problem started hunger, all these issues we are having started from this electricity matter. It actually reduced our production capacity, and this is affecting us greatly. You want to say that how does electricity affect agriculture? It affects it greatly because if you don't have electricity, you don't process any produce and you don't store any produce. So they are the major problem that we have in this country. And the reason is that we've heard about ECN in Nigeria. We've heard about NEPA in Nigeria. We've heard about PACN in Nigeria. And this is Disco and Genco that we now have in Nigeria. All these, we still battling with the installed capacity of 1950, 1960. And at that time, Nigerian population was less than 100 million. Today, we are over 200 million. And we are still using the production capacity, the installed capacity of what our forefather did in the 60s and 50s. That is telling you that it should be collapsing time, except there's a strategic move to expand it. If you don't expand it, if you visit today, tomorrow it will collapse again. So because the load is far too much on its capacity, therefore it will continue to be collapsing. If you finish today, it will collapse tomorrow. So except we are trying to extend its capacity. Nigeria today, we are still using 5,000 megawatts. That was the installed capacity of electricity in Nigeria in the 50s and 60s. Today, we are still using. Why some countries that are far below our population, South Africa, Kenya, they are far below our population. They are using more than 50,000 megawatts of electricity. So can you now see, plus or minus 5,000 megawatts, that is not even stable, then with about 50,000 megawatts. An industrialized nation will have electricity stable. But Nigeria, it is wishy-washy in terms of industrialization. That's the reason you see a lot of companies leaving the country, because there is no way, collapsing every other day. This is a problem that we need to tackle. But for what the president is trying to do now, through the Presidential Economy Coordination Council, we have Elumelu, we have the like of Dangote and some other people like that. I think if they give them what they need to do, because they give them the target of expanding and generating 6,000 megawatts within 6 months. I don't know whether they want to use magic, but they are giving them a target. Except those that come in, because if you see Dangote, he has his own electricity that powers the whole refinery, and he has the one that powers the whole cement plant. So if they can allow them to come to it, of course, some people will also say, "Oh, you want to put us under the monopoly of Dangote." That is not. I think we need to be forward-thinking, forward-looking to ensure that this is working. But that's the problem. If you have electricity stable, Nigeria economy will rebound naturally. But because of we don't have electricity stable, and we have less than 5,000 megawatts that has been installed since 1960, and then we are having more than 200 million population. So we cannot do that.
Going to explore
We are not going to do
that area. But for now, let's just take a break. Stay with us. The issue of power and power generation in Nigeria is one that cannot be exhausted in one go. We've been on it for a very long time, we're still on it. But I'm happy at the body language of Mr. President, just like Rasaq said, hopefully we'll have a lot coming up. But one other area that is bothering many Nigerians is our inability to protect national assets. It is the came up recently and said that a tower that was recently fixed after it was vandalized has been vandalized again. And you want to ask what's happening, because I think something should have been done to ensure that these assets are protected, knowing they are national assets. And of course, we have bodies who were commissioned and who were, instituted for purposes like that. So what's going on?
What is going on is what you could see that we don't have pepper again. In the last 1 month now or 2 months, the price of pepper has increased. It's because of the fact that it is insecurity that is affecting them in the whole north. They cannot go farm again, and the pepper you see, the beans you see, are imported from Burkina Faso, from Niger, from Mali. The same thing happens to the tower that's been destroyed every now and then. In Nigeria, we are not secure. That's just the truth. In Nigeria of today, we are not secure. But how do we build that security? It's for me, you, and security agents to be vigilant. Some people in some communities are allowing these criminals, knowing full well that they are criminals, but because of the bribe, because of what they want to eat, some of them allow them to perform and perpetuate a lot of crimes and criminality in their domain. In the whole north, a House of Rep member was talking last week, trying to paint the picture of what is happening in Goza. The man was telling us that it was a complacency and it was conspiracy that caused this issue and caused the issue. What is it? When people want to come in or go out, there must be thorough session. They need to really look at, there must be thorough session. They need to really look at what happens. What do you bring in? What do you take out? But in Nigeria, you don't take note of that. Today in Nigeria, at our border that I mentioned before, from Ilara to Imeko, people are just coming in and going out without proper or thorough checking. If you go to Leila, you go to Cameroon, and the border area between Cameroon and Cross River, do it to be happening. Then you say you want to fight insecurity because you yourself are complacent, you are carefree and reckless. So that is the situation that we are in this country. Because me, you, everybody, we are carefree, we are reckless, we are complacent, and that's the reason you could see that insecurity is not being fought. It's not being fought the way
there
it
are
should be fought.
officers being paid to protect national assets on a monthly basis.
The officers being paid to protect the national assets on a monthly basis are overpowered. The officers you are talking about are poorly equipped. The officer you are talking about did not hit 3 square meals in a day. So how do you want an officer that collects a minimum wage of 30,000 naira to perform when if I can continue to discuss?
You are taking it to another level. So we want to open the lines right away because of time. 0803-437-9453 and 0815-032-0226. So you can call in now and let's find out what you have on your mind. Some of the issues that have been raised this morning in the national dailies that we've been discussing right here in the studio. 0803-437-9453.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Debo. Good morning, Bolaji.
Good morning,
Good morning,
sir.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Ayinla.
Good morning, sir.
There are so many issues that are very weird and difficult to discuss. However, I'm going to wrap up what is happening in the world and the direction of the country. First of all, we talked about our president appointed chairman of ECOWAS. I'm praying that he does not do what he did about 1 day when he was appointed. And they are not doing what he made about quick change. I think our president has to be one good man to be this time around. It is not good, it doesn't do our nation good for us, for our president to do something and then they trust that we regret and they try to control us people. We have to very careful to get people that have to be the best in the world, but you don't have the right equipment.
That's it.
When you are not able to when you are not able to trace when we have to gather intelligence. You know that people who are suspected, they are investigated properly, and when all the evidence has been collected, that's when they are arrested. I don't think they are prosecuted. But here, first of all, arrest, I don't think it will be information for part to prosecute. That's what the person will. I hope I'm pretty sure that we will have contact with them, with them. But I think they don't have the right to. And Nigeria is one of the most just election to work in this country. We need to that. You like that, just with the police. And what we like to do is better. We're talking about national day. My brother saying that that matters of the was so that has been installed by what we are putting. How can we get that up? When we're all instead of spending the money to do that, we are buying the street, we are buying out of this land, we are paying big salaries to problem. We have the money, we can spend the money to improve our supply. But we are not doing it. Same thing with petroleum. Well, how do we solve the problem of people who are complacent? Is that if you have what wrong, you have put in place. Nigerians are complacent here, that we politicians here, that would say, but Nigerians are sort of, what is the law? What can we catch people like that?
Okay, so let's wrap it so we can give other people a chance.
Very detailed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Very
so
I
much.
appreciate you, sir.
Very detailed.
0803-437-94. Call this morning to be part of our discussion on Morning Flight, 90.5 FM. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Ayinla from Debo.
Welcome aboard.
Nigeria contributes largest to the ECOMOG. I ask, Nigeria helps African National Congress to gain independence in South Africa. Nigeria can't stop insurgency in this country. Boko Haram is transmitting to what you call it, something like that. Nigerians are hungry, everything. So I say they call Nigeria the giant of Africa. I'm not pessimistic, sir. Is Nigeria not an elephant with a clay feet? Nigeria is a hero here and a villain there. I hang up, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling.
0803-437-9453 and 0815-032-026. Take the next call now.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is I'm calling from Bandoko.
Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Rasaq.
Good morning, sir.
Please, on the issue, I want to talk about security and the issue of national grid collapse. One thing about the security is that the police in other countries, they are not injured, they are human beings. Some Nigerians are working there and they are performing very well.
Yes, sir.
Because of my relation with Nigerian police, most of the problems in a community, we are the one that's causing it. We know who is a thief, but we will not disclose because I don't want to think that I'm the one that reported this and reported that. And later on, I and you will see that and be criticizing the government. So it is when the people, because a family make a society make a community now make a nation. Now, when the family is not well grounded, that is the issue of insecurity. Some of the places, sometimes they will tell you that, look at this man, they reported him to the police and he has been left in the hook and look at him going around. Now, most of the cases, those who brought the case to the owner of the whatever they so we tell you that it's not interested, they just want to collect his material. What is the police going to put as an evidence that is true? We have this. On the issue of in Damaturu and Meduguri, it is an internal problem within that area which they want to embarrass they want to embarrass the vice president. Because most of the time when you hear this tower and this and that, it is either from Gombe, Damaturu, Meduguri, and Bauchi State. Now, this is the embarrassment they want to cause for the vice president. And those who are doing are living within the community. When they are assembling, they know them. But everybody say they are afraid of their life. And I told them, because more than 2 months ago, there was no line there. They just restored it about that close to Idil celebration. And they are about to blow it except until when intelligence said, look, we have gone beyond all this. All of us is going to suffer again when they now report. If everybody report, this thing will have stopped. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, that is it. Conspiracy among ourselves. That's been the problem that's affecting us. We don't need to conspire with criminals. But what we see everywhere is that, oh, this is my boy, oh, this is my daughter, and he's doing something that is bad and that will affect all of us, and we keep mute and we are trying to shield them. So that has been the problem that we have everywhere. You see, there's insecurity. It is the conspiracy, it is complacency, and the carefree attitude of those are there. We just need to appeal to our CDA, our CDC, and the PCRC to be working more, because we need them at this point. They will be the one that are going from one place to the other, that are living in different community, to tell us what is really happening. And if you see something, say something.
All right, our time is fast spent. We want to thank you, the listener at home, and everyone who called in to contribute to the program today. Thank you very sincerely for everything you did, and for the production crew this morning.
Yes, we want to appreciate the editor, Wahid Okunjobi, and also BC Musari. ICT guy has been Adedoyi Kwangwade. And then, of course, the senior manager, Bukola Olatunji, will say thank you. It's been a show for me, the production. I am Bolaji, saying have a lovely rest of your day. We want to appreciate you, Rasaq, for coming.
Rasaq, Ayinla, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Always. Debo Adeyinka is my name. Have a beautiful Monday. Wow.